Good evening, fight fans, and welcome to another edition of CES Boxing Classics. I am your host, boxing publicist and matchmaker Michael Parente. Now, for tonight's edition, we go all the way back in time, April 3rd, 2015, Shelly Vincent versus Christina Ruiz for the UBF World Super Bantamweight Title. This was a fun female fight in New England, one of the bigger fights at the time. And what really made this card memorable was the fact that CES Boxing was starting to work with more themes in its events. This one was called the Revival, and this was a real interesting time in New England. Peter Manfredo Jr., who had long since been the headliner in New England, was now 2 years removed from retiring in 2013, and a new crop of young stars was starting to take over the boxing landscape. And these were really exciting times in New England. You had young stars like Kyrie Gray from Worcester, Nick DeLumba from Rhode Island, Freddie Sanchez from Worcester, even Ray Oliveira Jr., who appeared on the same event 2-0 at the time in his young career. These were the names that were starting to make a little bit of a climb in New England and starting to get boxing fans excited again about the sport. And through that 2-year period after Manfredo's retirement, CES and other New England promoters were looking for another major headliner star who could step up and fill an arena. And at this time, Shelly Vincent, the female sensation in the Super Bantamweight division, was that person. She was that fighter. Now, Shelly Vincent got off to a late start in her career, but her story was incredible. It was remarkable. It was inspirational. It had all the makings of a star fighter who could really relate to the public. Now, if you're not familiar with Shelly, she got off to a late start in her career. She didn't turn pro until her early 30s. As a child, she was part of an abusive relationship, in her household. Her mother was part of an abusive relationship. She had survived rape. She had survived being abused by her stepfather. A lot of things that went wrong in her life at an early age, she channeled into boxing and used that as an outlet, and she turned her life around. She got into some legal trouble when she was younger, didn't know really how to express her thoughts and what was going on in her life, but since then has become a real inspirational figure to those who are struggling with the same problems throughout their life. And Shelly really came above as that kind of person you could relate to and someone who could tell their story and say, hey, listen, I got through this, I made it, and so can you. And so Shelly really became someone that was really relatable to the general public, and plus she could fight. And she was eccentric. She had the multicolored hairstyles, the red, white, and green for the Italian colors, a lot of piercings, tattoos. She came to the ring with dramatic entrances. She really put on a show. She knew how to market. She knew how to self-promote. And she drew big, big crowds in around whenever she fought. And this was the time of her transition to a main event headline fighter. And this event was really one of the bigger fights in her career. This was her opportunity to fight for a world title for the second time. She'd previously won a world title the year before against Angel Gladney. And now she was taking on the tough Christina Ruiz from Texas. And if you know anything about women's boxing and you look at the weight classes, it's really slim pickings on who you can fight. And that really rings true today, even 5 years later. A lot of the female fighters fight the same opponent twice, sometimes even 3 times, because there's just nobody else out there to keep you busy. Now, Christina Ruiz had been on Shelly's radar for a while. It was a fight that we wanted to make for a long time. And when it came down to it, it was a real simple fight to put together. Both sides wanted it. The opportunity was there to fight for the UBF belt. And here was Shelly Vincent headlining at Twin River Casino, where so many great fighters before her had headlined, showing that not only could women's boxing bring a crowd and headline a major event at a major casino in New England, but that she could also win another world title. So this was a really interesting time, like I said, for CES. And if you've listened to past podcasts, we talked about the Missy Fiorentino fight at the Rhode Island Convention Center. CES had always been a big, strong advocate for female boxing, whether it was Missy Fiorentino, Jamie Clampett, you name it, the list goes on and on. Jimmy Birchfield, the promoter, the president, CEO of CES, has always prioritized women's boxing at a time when a lot of promoters weren't willing to take that risk. And any time a promoter put a female fight as his or her main event, it was considered a risk at that time. But Shelly Vincent really mitigated all those risks. She brought fans, she brought notoriety, she brought press coverage. Originally from Connecticut, Providence was more or less her second home, and she knew how to pack an arena. And this fight was just a true testament of what Shelly could do on any given night. Facing off against Christina Ruiz. The event was called the Revival, as we once again revived New England boxing. All the themes were in place for an epic main event. So sit back, relax, and enjoy it. Shelly Vincent versus Christina Ruiz.
And we are underway. Super Bantamweight Championship on the line tonight.
This is going to be Shelly Vincent's biggest test to date, in my opinion.
I completely concur. I mean, outside of Jackie Tribolino, who came in last time.
She was fantastic. It was a great fight.
She was outstanding. This young lady, Christina Ruiz, she has 4 knockouts under her belt, so I don't think it can get into the slugfest that Vincent has had in the past.
They've already covered more ring than they did in the last one.
Both fighters feeling each other out in the center of the ring.
Ruiz has fought a who's who of women in this sport, and has fared extremely well with all of them. So this is truly Shelly Vincent's, like I said, biggest competition, biggest threat at her title, and I'm looking forward to all 10 rounds of this.
It'd be awesome if it went 10 rounds. No real punches landed just yet.
No, both ladies kind of feeling this round out. You know, just a little shy of danger at the moment.
Now Ruiz gets in with a right to the body.
Just enough to capture your attention. Good round.
That's what I'm talking about. You hear me? That's what I'm talking about. Listen, Mama, you're throwing her off with that jab right away. Right away, okay? I need that from you consistently like that. Those little pauses, I need you to be first, right? That right uppercut, you sneak it in there. You sneak that shit in there. Right? You see her head goes down like that, you sneak that shit in there. You miss one, you have to win, right? In combination off that jab, okay? Keep using your legs like that and keep giving those angles. You know what to do. You know what to do, right? You stay tight in your defense. When she throws, she catches a punch and you counter back. You know what to do, right? You use his legs right here. Come on. Sit down, Chris. Sit down, Chris.
Ruiz is up and ready for more.
Shaking off a lot of
Damn
stuff
good round.
too early.
You put the combinations on now,
The
right?
corner's quite happy with the round. Well, the pace has definitely picked up, and the ladies have the leather's finding the skin now.
Yeah, more punches landed thus far in the second round than throughout the entire first. Ruiz just looks very composed, Scott. Doesn't look like she's fazed by anything thus far from Vincent.
Well, the reverse is true as well, I believe. But to be honest with you, like we said, you know, this is definitely nice job on the exchange. Both ladies punching out of that. I agree with you. She's very composed. She feels no threat. She definitely feels like she belongs here. She's a title contender without a doubt. She's the #1 contender. And there's a confidence that goes with that. Nice job by Shelly, tripling that left hand. Nice job. A little deep on that right cross. That overhand right by Shelly is one of her bread and butter punches. And she just, nice job. She kind of triple left hook, short right
Shelly
uppercut
getting in
by
there
Shelly.
tight. Ruiz giving it right back to the body.
Double right hand to the body. Peter Manfredo Sr. calling for Shelly to keep coming forward with that.
In a much more active second round than the first. It'll be interesting to see what the
Excellent
advice
second
is here
round.
from Peter Manfredo Sr.
Breathe. Deep breath. Listen, you're in great shape.
There's no need to go back. You're on the inside with her. She starts throwing. Just weave and shoot. Look for that body. You got that left to the body. You're doubling up that hook there. Hit it there. But I don't want you stepping back. I need you to back her up. You're going to be aggressive, just like you was in camp. No fucking change. No different. Right? Be aggressive. Back her up. Up and down with some combinations. Follow that double jab in. When you double jab, straight right hand. Don't try them big overhand shots. Those will come. Let us see that right hand straight. Right hand to the chest. That's a hard hook. Quick, short, fast. Speed. Come on, baby, let's go. Wake up. You got that round up. Right? Double, triple that hook there. Hook the fucking body with it. Gotta stay busy. Just don't pull on with your hands down. Just weave up.
Round 3.
Here's the speed that Shelly's corner called for. She wanted straight right hands rather than the overhand. Now Ruiz is throwing the loopy punches rather than the straight punches. Ruiz, who was throwing straight punches earlier, she's now throwing these loopy hook punches from her hip. There's your straight right hand that Shelly's corner was asking for. Double jab, straight right hand rather than the overhand.
Yeah, Shelly looks a lot more aggressive in this round and really sticking to what her trainer told her.
Well, it's still early enough in the fight. Everything's still working pretty well. Both ladies are in excellent shape. And they have excellent corners, so there's no reason to. Nice short left hook by Shelly. No reason not to pay attention to your corner. Wow, Christine just swung for the fences with that one.
At the conclusion of the round 2 corner, a trainer saying, "Wake up," and Shelly has woken up. Going to Ruiz more than Ruiz is coming to her.
Ruiz kind of holding the side of the head and throwing that short uppercut. Both ladies still moving very, very well. Both ladies still have great pop on their punches.
Okay. I know, we lost that. Listen to me.
You're doing great, Mama.
All right?
You're doing great.
Relax. All right, look. She's
You're doing great. You're doing fucking badass.
Starting to get busy. She's starting to get busy.
You got this fucking shit. Naruka, respect.
Come forward. Let her come forward. Find the back foot. Let her come forward. I need you to set the right uppercut, left hook. Right? Take that jab out. Let her come forward. Scoot back a little bit. Stay back. Let her come forward, and you need to set up with a combination. Not one hard shot, one hard shot, okay? With a combination, you understand? Doing that.
Tina, you go, Mama. You're doing great, baby. You're doing great. We're loving it.
Right? Out. Right. Set her up. Let her come forward. Fire off the back foot. Let her come forward. Set her up. Right up to the left hook.
Big overhand right by Shelly.
Right out of the gate, Shelly comes across the ring and greets her with a big right. And now we're watching boxing. Both ladies swinging in the center of the ring. Ruiz landing some punches here.
Ruiz has her hands in her pockets right now. What I mean by that, they're hip high. Nice triple jab by Shelly Vincent. Nice short right hand in tight. Nice right uppercut by Christine. Now the ladies are awake. Just shy, it's what, 7 minutes into this fight. Both ladies nice and warm. I think they got a good feel for each other. I think we're ready to start seeing them land a lot.
Big right
lot
from
more
Ruiz.
often. Nice flurry out by Shelly. Nice counter by Ruiz. This is going to be a back and forth little seesaw battle. Nice combination by Shelly.
Ruiz slapping at her with those left hands, and Shelly will have none of it with that combo. And another right on the button, left-right from Shelly.
Nice short right hand by Shelly.
And now we're having fun, Scott.
Yeah, it's starting to boil up a little bit. Heat's getting turned up.
I don't need you to back up. I need you to back her up. You know what I just said? What? You tell me.
Back her up.
Back her fucking ass up. Do not step out. You gotta go and start right away with the jab. Forget the lead right hand. If you just punch her, I'm fine, but then you're gonna work behind her, okay? All right, let's go. I need fucking work. You had her over there, you fucking looked at her. Take her out. If you want to take her out, you can do that. But start with the jab. Blind her. Drink. And the body on the inside. Up and down. And left hook to the body. Start weaving. Look for it. Nice and short. Double. Come on. One more. Start with that double jab. Here we go. All the time.
Round 5.
Big right hand coming out. Nice job by Shelly. She caught that overhand right and triple jabbed off it. But now Christine's the one coming forward. Ruiz coming forward. Multiple combinations. I think we got a little blood coming out of Shelly's nose.
I was going to say, when Ruiz gets close, it almost looks like she's throwing elbows in those tight quarters there.
She throws very, very tight combinations. Very disciplined. She has very good technique in her combinations. Now Shelly Vincent doing exactly what her corner asked her to do, and that's back up Ruiz. Nice jab. And that's exactly what her corner asked, was to back her up off the jab. You want to put her away, fine, but not out off the lead right hand, off the jab. Ruiz now coming back, backing up.
Oh, big left hand.
Stiff left hand by Ruiz. Nice body shots by Shelly.
These two ladies up against the ropes, battling it out.
Now they got reversed. And here's Ruiz turning it around. Turnabout's fair play. And now she pins Shelly against the ropes and starts throwing shots. Shelly fighting off the ropes. Christina Ruiz pouring it on, and Shelly fighting off the ropes. Triple left hook by Shelly Vincent.
She certainly knows how to find her way out of trouble.
Well, she also likes to get into it too, if you ask me. I think that kind of motivates her a little bit. Nice body shots.
Wow.
Counter left hook to end the round.
That was a great round right there.
Both ladies, you hear the fans here at CES. Great job by both fighters.
Gina, listen. You're too close and you're going wild now. You're fucking doing this wild. On. I told you we got a rope to get a little deeper here. It worked. Remember? Christina, this is where it matters. What's the point of training? This is all that matters right here. Hey. Look at this though. Look, I want a straight right. I want a straight right and roll under, okay? Remember that? Straight roll under? Give me that from a distance, okay? Give me a straight right from a distance and roll under. From a distance. And roll under, okay? Then back to left hook, right hand. All right? That's what I want you to do. Go in there and do it quick. Go in there and do it. You're not fighting a fight.
As we come to the 6th round, you could hear the sense of urgency from Ruiz's corner.
Well, you also heard them say, as we had said a couple of rounds ago, that she went from throwing nice, straight, clean punches to she started winging them and throwing looping punches, and he was adamant about straighten out your punches, stop throwing the loopy punches.
Yeah, he was really concerned about that. He said, what are you doing?
He was opening, yeah, she got sloppy, she was opening up her punches, and he wanted to tighten up her game, and that was why Shelly was landing so well. Shelly was actually, as I stated, she caught an outside punch and was able to double up off the inside. She did a great job with him. Both ladies are trying to pick their spots right now. Both ladies are really trying to hone in and find the perfect punch. Not one, they're throwing the combination, but they're really...
You're right, they're really picking their spots right now.
Yeah, they're really respecting each other right now.
Especially after the last round.
But Shelly Vincent is really, she's listening to her corner about backing up Ruiz. Even if she hasn't landed, she's done it with footwork backing her up.
She really has. There's that double jab again that her corner's been telling her about. And we'll stay with the Vincent corner.
Don't step back, because then she's going to start getting a new life again. Don't let her breathe. You're hitting her with the shot. Double your jab, follow it in, and come back with the hook. You're going to get her that way. We need some more water, kid. Deep breath. 7. One more. Work behind the double jab. Straight right into the body, left hook to the head. Double jab. Right. Take your head out to the side, you're fine. Don't bail out. Weak. And look for some shots off the weak. I got it, Michael.
Coming down the home stretch here, round number 7. And I feel like from round 5 to now, Scott, it's almost been Shelly's, there's been this change. She's really attacking Ruiz, keeping her off of her, doing the double jab, following up with a combination.
Yeah, she started to warm up. She started paying better attention to her corner. And you know what? Sometimes it takes a couple of rounds to get the bugs out, get the legs nice and warm, and find your tempo. Shelly's doing a great job, and I think part of that too is that Ruiz went from throwing some really nice straight combinations to the looping punches, and it's just been to Shelly's benefit. And if you notice too, when Ruiz jabs, she drops her right hand very, very low. Now she's playing a game. Ruiz is playing a
Floyd Mayweather game.
Yeah, which, you know, Floyd's about the only guy to get away with that. And I think Manny might have something to say about that in a couple months, the next month. Just my opinion.
I'm on the Pacquiao wagon too. In these close quarters, both fighters have found a way to get these quick little slap punches in.
They both punch and both fight very, very well in tight. I think I would give the advantage. I'd give the advantage in power to Shelly and
Nice
output to
there.
Ruiz. Nice movement by Ruiz, making her miss. Nice job.
Those last 3 punches were huge.
Yeah,
Ruiz dodging those.
she's very slick off that.
Good job, baby. That's all day. All day, Tina. She's fighting your fight now. She's fighting your fight.
That's what
you understand? She's fighting your fight. That's how you do it, baby.
That's
how you do it.
That's what we need. You set her up like that. You hear me?
She's fighting your fight.
Now you start to come back. Now you start to come back right now.
Okay.
This is where you dig deep and you start making things happen right here.
You understand?
One more minute.
Keep working.
That's what you need to do. Now that you know what you need to do, you need to set up your combinations. Joe, right for glove. You need to set up combinations. Your way. Set up her combinations, right? Yeah. Now it's got her following you. Stop set up her combinations, okay? Yeah, we'll let her run into the right uppercuts. Get her following you. Stop with a hit. Come on, baby. We got to get to work. You know what to do.
Don't be swing. Don't waste your punches. Don't waste your punches.
Get him again. Now you stay sharp. Hell yeah.
Ruiz's corner very pleased with that round, asking for more of the same.
Well, they think it's, she's on her way back. She started moving a lot more. She started boxing a lot better. And, it was very symbolic in the first couple of rounds. So let's see if she can follow through with it.
Nice combination by Shelly in the center of the ring. Now the crowd's starting to get behind the hometown favorite here.
Nice combination by Ruiz, answered by Shelly Vincent. I'm waiting on that left hook to land by Shelly Vincent. That's what, there's a short left hook. Ruiz's mouthpiece has been really sticking out of her mouth here and there. I'm wondering if she's having a bit of a time with the conditioning. Nice short right hand by Ruiz. Every once in a while, Ruiz likes to almost spit out her mouthpiece. Nice combination by Shelly Vincent. Nice combination to end the round. That was a great round for Vincent.
It really was. Really flipped the script on what Ruiz's camp was saying in between rounds.
She's ready to quit. Now you put that pressure on her like you just did. See how nice and quick and fast? That's how you're going to grow. That was a great round.
She's running.
Yeah, she's going to she said she's going to survive. That's all she's looking to do, survive. You're too much for her. With the face, the kind of run. You can't even face that round. That was a good round.
That was a round. She's running.
Oh, of course she's running. Don't want to stay in there. Listen, when you're on the inside, you got to work. I'm uppercuts are there. I'm body shots are there. I did it. Everything's there. But you got to work fast, short, little step over. Do it again. No rest. Come to me. Step back. She's stepping in. Step back and shoot. All right? Good round. You look good. You're looking good. All right? But I need you to stay focused. 2 more rounds now.
Final 2 rounds here.
Well, I think this is it's do or die for Ruiz. I believe she really needs to.
At this point, do you think she might have to knock her out?
I believe a 10-8 round minimum. She needs to at least drop her, if not knock her out. I think Shelly's up substantial on the scorecards.
I'm just really impressed with Shelly tonight. Every time Ruiz looks to have a round that ends positively or even a round that she may have won, Shelly comes out the next round and just puts an end to that momentum.
Well, Ruiz hasn't been able to string 2 rounds together since maybe the first 2 rounds.
Agreed, and that's pretty much when Shelly looked a little flat.
Right.
Like you said, almost she had to wake up a little bit.
Well, and all of a sudden, Ruiz started throwing looping outside punches. She got square, as you see her right now, square and throwing punches from her hips. And it was totally against what was working for her early. Maybe part of that was because she was square. Maybe part of that because Shelly wasn't, quite warmed up and in her game yet. But I haven't seen Shelly Vincent quite this crisp, quite this quick. A nice straight right hand thrown by Ruiz. Shelly just walked right into it.
Stuns her, but she keeps herself.
Well, no one's ever questioned the chin on Vincent. No one's ever questioned that. But it was still a great punch by Ruiz.
No question.
But for the first time in quite some time, this might have be the quickest I've seen Shelly Vincent. She's throwing nice, crisp, clean combinations. Not one punch, not one or two punches, but just like that, 4 or 5 in a row, 5 or 6 in a row.
And she certainly looks to be in better conditioning shape than when she was fighting Jackie Trivolino. Making it look easy coming into the 10th here.
Good round. Good round, baby girl. Good round, baby girl. Good round, mama. Good fuck round. You give us one more like that.
I need that. I need that again.
All day. All day.
I need that again, Chris.
All day. That was fucking better.
I need that again. I need that again. Can you do it again? You gotta dig fucking deep in your heart. Dig your will out, Chris, and you gotta press her back like that and set her up.
Last one we touch in the center. Last one.
You set her up like
one we touch in the
say
center.
step out, she missed. Come back in hard.
Make sure you come with your own quick. Keep your hands up, and if you have to, keep your fucking distance. You hear me?
No fucking fair game.
In and out, Chris. In and out. I want in and out like that. And then back her ass up and keep her ass there. And you work hard and you finish that girl.
right.
You need to finish her.
That's right.
You want
You
them belts?
understand that, right?
You want them belts?
You want that, right?
Come on, you
bring it
finish
home,
it.
baby. Bring it home, baby.
Come on.
Bring
Right
it
here,
home.
Chris.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 10th and final round.
Well, you heard Ruiz's corner. If you want it, you got to go finish her. You have to put her down.
10th and final round here from Twin River Casino. CES Boxing, Super Bantamweight. Titles on the line.
And they're fighting like they're fighting like they're in a 5 rounds to 4.
I'd imagine both corners said similar things. No, Scott?
I'm not quite sure. I mean, I don't think there's quite the sense of urgency from Shelly's corner. Maybe not, but I like to think so because I'm a fan of what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, I got to tell you, she really came out determined. I was thinking the same thing, but away they go.
Beautiful
Swinging away in the
combination.
center of the ring here.
Beautiful combinations. They keep this up for another minute. We have another classic entertainment and sports, classic title defense.
Wow.
Beautiful combinations. Ruiz firing. Vincent's returning the combinations. Ruiz trying to dig in, trying to pour it on. Shelly's just a bit too much firing back. Nice shot to the body.
Shelly doing a nice job here towards the end, being evasive and such close quarters.
Nice slip. It comes right back. Ruiz with that nice quick snap jab. Both ladies pouring it on under 20 seconds. Swinging for the fence. Oh, a couple of... That'll do it. What a fantastic finish to a fantastic fight.
For Vincent and Ruiz.
CES Boxing, Twin River Casino, they never disappoint. Like the last time Shelly was in this building, we will go to the scorecards and we'll swing it up to Pat Sullivan with the results.
All right, there it is. Shelly Vincent, your winner by unanimous decision in this 10-round bout, 98-92, 97-93 on 2 of the other scorecards. So for Shelly Vincent, she improved her record to 14-0. Christina Ruiz dropped to 7-8-2. Now, these two fighters, their careers went in totally opposite directions after this fight. For Christina Ruiz, she actually rematched Vincent a year later at Foxwoods Resort Casino. That was an 8-round bout, and actually a much closer disputed bout the second time around. Vincent won the rematch, but it's very narrow on the scorecards, and a lot of ringside observers thought that Ruiz might have actually stole that win. That was a fight that was agreed to on short notice at a much heavier weight than the 122-pound max limit for the fight in 2015. But be that as it may, Christina Ruiz fought one more time in 2017, took a couple of years off, came back in 2019 with another win, and now has an even record at 9-9-2. Has been inactive since, and like a lot of fighters due to the COVID-19 pandemic, really hasn't been in the ring in quite some time. So it's been more than a year layoff for Christina Ruiz. But for Shelly Vincent, this win over Ruiz in 2015 was really just the beginning of her remarkable career. Anybody who has followed Vincent knows that she had a long-time rivalry with Heather Hardy of Brooklyn, who was also a rising super bantamweight. Those two were basically going neck and neck on different shows, just continuing to run their undefeated streaks to record highs. Shelly had actually gone to New York a couple times and sort of called out Hardy in the ring or outside the ring after Hardy's victory. So the stage had been set for, at some point, an epic Shelly Vincent Heather Hardy fight. And in 2016, Shelly finally got her wish, facing Heather Hardy on a Premier Boxing Championship show that was actually aired on NBC Sports. This was an epic fight for women's boxing. And at that time in 2016, there was really no bigger fight in the sport than Shelly Vincent versus Heather Hardy. And NBC brought it to the forefront and made sure that this fight was televised for the public to see. I believe Errol Spence Jr. was the headliner in that event, but this fight actually stole the show and really gained most of the press attention just because of the historic nature of a female fight being broadcast on a national network. And it was really something that had never been done before. Now, Heather Hardy won this fight, very close decision. Again, somewhat disputed. Of course, like anything, both fighters thought they won the fight, but this really was a genuinely close fight. And that's kind of the theme with women's boxing. They only have 2-minute rounds, and so really you just kind of come out firing. There's not a lot of time for establishing a pace or really determining what you're going to do. You have to go in there and try to win a round right away. And a lot of rounds that I found historically watching female boxing are close and tough to judge. And this fight was tough to judge, and sometimes it's tough to watch it from a perspective where you might have a bias. I've always been a fan of Shelly Vincent, so of course I might give a slight edge to her watching some of the rounds. But the Heather Hardy fight was epic for Shelly. It was the first loss of her career, and she actually had the opportunity to rematch Heather Hardy on HBO later in her career. That fight she also lost. I thought a much wider decision and a much more convincing victory for Heather Hardy. But as it stands, Shelly Vincent has continued to fight. She recently fought before the COVID-19 pandemic shut everything down. Right now, her record stands at 26-2. It's remarkable in any platform in any era, and her only 2 losses have come to Heather Hardy. But for the purposes of our podcast, we go back to that 2015 date. Shelly was only 13-0 at the time, still making her climb up the ladder. There had been talks of her fighting Hardy around that time, but I think for all intents and purposes, it made more sense for the two to continue to build up a little bit more before they stepped in the ring with each other and set the stage for that dramatic fight. But looking back on these fights is a lot of fun. You kind of see how much, Shelly Vincent has grown in her career stylistically and how she's become a better boxer. And I think those fights in 2015 were really a peak for her, where she was really starting to showcase all her skills. She had a great support system with her management team, her training team, working with Peter Manfredo Sr., and she had the crowd behind her everywhere she went. So this was really peak Shelly Vincent to me during this era, and I'm glad that we had the opportunity to share this fight with you. So there it is, 2015, Shelly Vincent headlining the Revival at Twin River Casino Hotel in Rhode Island, taking on and defeating Christina Ruiz, improving her record to 14-0, just the beginning of many great things for Shelito's way. I hope you enjoyed our podcast. We're going to see you again next week with another edition of CES Boxing Classics. Take care.